I mean, if I compare before the program and like where I am now, it's just totally different. I can't even put it into words really. It's just I have like the big releases, I've had some big collaborations, played multiple international gigs, started building an actual genuine fan base. So it's not just the millions of streams, it's the direct messages and the comments that I get on a daily basis. I'm Josh Tissier, DJ and music producer from a small island called Guernsey. I have over 70 million streams. My music's been played by some of the biggest DJs in the world, like Hardwell, W&W, Timmy Trumpet. I've started doing international gigs, and I have a couple of releases on Hardwell's label, Revealed. I initially came across artist coaching back in 20, I think.
Probably something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It was the EDM Prod podcast you were on. I think you got interviewed by Sam Matler, who owned it at the time, and you kind of explained what you did and how you were helping artists. And I was at the stage of my career where I hadn't made much progress, so I felt like uh, having somebody help me with the strategy that would be a big help.
Yeah. Because to put things back in perspective, back at that time you were playing locally.
Yeah, just playing locally. I don't think I'd even released music actually.
Can you still remember what your expectations were before you started the coaching?
I think at the time I had it in my head that the only way of making progress was releasing on record labels. But you convinced me to do like self-releasing. Uh,
No pun
that
intended.
that's always going to be funny now after the podcast. Yeah, so I started releasing music myself, and started building up the streams, the followers, and I guess I pushed record labels to one side for a few years and was focusing on bootlegs as well, which took a little while for me to be convinced that they were a good idea. And then I started doing them. And then one of them in particular, which I think was a Lewis Capaldi bootleg, started getting played on North American radio, which then led to like official remixes for like Carly Rae Jepsen, Griffin, and other smaller independent artists. So
Yeah.
that was kind of the big stepping stones, I think.
Yeah. And did you expect coaching to be what it was eventually?
Yeah, I think so. I think where I was really lacking before I started was the whole strategy. I think I was just making music, not even releasing it. Just, I don't know, just there was no real sense of direction. Whereas I think you helped me focus on what was important, like actually being consistent with music releases, social media, the whole branding thing as well, which at that time I hadn't really given it any thought at all. Whereas now I probably think about that stuff more than the actual music. But that's the way the industry is, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And how long did it take you to kind of switch that mindset?
a few months, I think, of you convincing me, maybe. But yeah, as soon as I kind of accepted what you were saying with the branding, the bootlegs, being consistent, then I think that's when things started started to happen, really.
Um, how has coaching helped you achieve your goals?
I think it comes down to strategy again and having, I think, accountability as well. So when we were having like monthly sessions, I had like a list of goals or tasks to achieve, and it helps having somebody to kind of report to. And if you hadn't done these tasks or goals, then yeah, you had to answer for that really. So it helped you stay focused. And I guess it's like having the teacher in at school where you get some homework and you have to do it, otherwise, well, it's a waste of time, money, and I guess it's embarrassing at the end of the day that you hadn't delivered what you said.
You maybe remember a specific moment or session that was particularly impactful for you?
There's been quite a few. I remember there was one session actually that we had in your coaching studio, which was just as things were starting to happen with the official remix, and had my first Ministry of Sound gig in London. And I remember being like really nervous for that because that was my first like international gig. You sat down like with your whiteboard, and I don't know, you helped me get into the correct mindset for that. in terms of feeling comfortable to do it and being prepared for it as well. So we spoke about getting like a video guy, getting some good content from it. So ended up with an after movie and just generally creating a story around that gig. And I think that was really good because nowadays, if you don't post about it in social media, it's like it doesn't happen. So, and I was using that same strategy like this weekend with my, last week with my first festival gig, like creating the story of this is me playing. I kind of did like a vlog and yeah, like created some content around the whole story of it, which I think is really important nowadays.
What are the biggest changes you've noticed in your career since you started the program?
I mean, if I compare before the program and like where I am now, it's just totally different. I can't even put it into words really. It's just I have like the big releases, I've had some big collaborations, played multiple international gigs, started building an actual genuine fan base. So it's not just the millions of streams, it's the direct messages and the comments that I get on a daily basis. People reaching out, even just the other day, some guy was asking me, "Oh, when are you coming to Romania? I'm a big fan of yours. I want you to come and play in this city." So that's really special, I think, when somebody sends you a message like that.
Which aspects do you which aspects of the coaching do you find most valuable?
I think the strategy and the mindset more than anything. I think in the beginning, I probably thought it was going to be more based on the music production side. Um, but it was more about the strategy and the branding and actually getting into the right mindset to tackle the music industry, which is one big mind game, I would say, and you need to be like mentally prepared for it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Is that something you feel like coaching helped you with to maintain that mindset?
Definitely, because I can speak to you, who has all of the experience about perhaps like some doubts that I have, and it helps when you speak to somebody who's experienced, who can give you some like positive feedback or perhaps a different way to approach things, which you wouldn't necessarily get from like a supportive partner or like a family member, because as much as they're supportive, they don't have the experience in the actual industry itself.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a good combination.
Are there any certain skills or insights you've gained that you didn't have before?
Before, perhaps I was more thinking of it as like a hobby, and now, yeah, I'm definitely thinking of the whole artist career as a business side of things.
Hmm.
So things like investing in having a video guy with you at certain special gigs for the content, because in my eyes, having those high quality photos, videos to create the content, to share the story is more important than say the few hundred euros that would be sat in the bank account. Helps a lot with getting extra gigs and general like the professionalism of like your profile if you have good content from that, I think.
How has the coaching affected your confidence and motivation?
Yeah, the coaching has had a huge impact on confidence, not just in the actual artist or music industry itself, just in general, because you feel like you have like a much better strategy. So it's kind of like peace of mind, I guess, and motivation, because you have like I've mentioned before, like the accountability, and perhaps like a set goal or task to do. You have to do it. Whereas like it would be too easy, perhaps if you didn't have a coach, to just go, oh, I'll do it tomorrow or next week. Like I'm just going to watch Netflix or something. Whereas, yeah, you're more motivated just from the accountability side alone.
What do you think makes artist coaching so unique compared to others?
I think the fact that it's one to one helps a lot, because then you can perhaps be more personal and more open. Whereas if it was like a group coaching, you might not be comfortable to raise certain concerns or queries. So you can maybe dive a little bit deeper into the mindset of the whole music industry and navigating this space.